Scientific notation. So today is just a refresher of what you did last year, writing numbers, converting decimal notation, which is just regular numbers, to scientific notation, and then vice versa, scientific to decimals. Scientific notation, the actual definition is C times 10 to a number, and C has to be greater than 1, less than 10, which means, or it's greater than or equal to, sorry. So all that means is you've got a number and then a decimal. So this is a whole number between 1 and 10, but not including 10. So it's 1 through 9 is the number this has got to be right here. So here, to rewrite in decimal form, that just means write it as a regular number. Now, on your calculators, these have a key that has an EE. That is the scientific notation key. Here, it's right here on these calculators. It is right above the comma, which is above the 7, and it's in gold, so you got to hit the second function and then that. On some of the other calculators, they have EXP for exponent. Now, when you're doing these on the calculator, like if you were to type this in, you can, but a lot of times it messes it up. You got to put it in exactly the right way. So if you use this key, it's guaranteed to get it right. You would put 7.29, hit the EE button, and then you just hit whatever the exponent is, 6. The EE does this for you. It does the times 10. Okay? So here you just put 4.5 EE negative 7. Okay? A lot of times people hit this and then they put a times 10 raised to the 6th. So remember, the EE does that for you. That's the times 10. Now, there's a long way and a short way. These you won't need a calculator for. The long way is 10 to the 6th is a 1 with 6 zeros, which is a million. So you could just take 7.29 times a million. It would be 7,290,000. The quick way is this though. Since it's to the 6th, you move the decimal 6 spots to the right. Since it's positive, you move to the right. Here, when it's negative, you move left. So all you got to do here is move it 6 spots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 7, 2, 9, and then I got to fill in 4 zeros. 7,290,000. Now, common mistake when we did this last year, and a lot of 8th graders do this, is they do that right. They'll write it like that, but then they'll leave the decimal where it was. That's completely wrong. That's 7.29 right there. Remember, the decimal is no longer here. It has moved to the end. It's no longer there. Okay? So the decimal moves. So this one, we just got to move it 7 to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's now there. So it's point. I moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spots. You guys remember doing this before?
Yes.
Okay. So that's all we're going to do today. Tomorrow we're going to do the tougher stuff. Today it's just converting scientific to decimal form. Again, all we do is move it 5 spots. 24900. Okay. Remember, if it's negative, you move it left. 1, 2, 3. Then, writing in scientific notation. Scientific notation has to be, the decimal is after the first number. So that's the whole rule, is I gotta move it from where, if it's not shown, it's at the end, I gotta move it to there. So it's 6.18. The number is just how many spots I moved it, 1, 2. Now, to tell whether it's a negative number or a positive number, if it's a decimal, it's gonna be negative. If it's more than 0, like here, it's going to be positive. So here, it already is after the first number, so do I have to move it? No. So 2.5 times 10 to the?
0.
I moved it 0 spots. 10 to the 0. Here, it would move to after the first number, so it's 7.245 times 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it was a decimal, so it's -5. The way you can double check is if I look at this, I know I gotta move it 5 to the left, and it'll end up like that. So here, I'd move it to there, 3.1. Once you get to where it's all zeros, you can just quit putting the zeros. Times 10 to the, there's 3, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so here, it's got to go after the first number. So here's the first non-zero number, so it's got to go right there. So it's 6 times 10 to the 3, negative, because it's a decimal. 8.002, I got to put everything up until it gets to non-zeros, times 10 to the 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. Put it right there, 3.7 times 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's a decimal, so it's negative. Now some of these they're going to give you, you wouldn't ever write them in science. The only time you write numbers in scientific notation is when they're very huge numbers or very small numbers. Like scientists use them. Huge numbers is space. Small numbers is like organisms, cells, you know. Some numbers, like if they give you 23. Yeah. You would never have to write this in scientific, but they're going to give you some problems like this, just so you know the rules. 23 is 2.3 times 10 to the 1. I just moved it 1 spot. If it was 62.15780, the rule is the decimal's got to go after the first number, and you got to write all the non-zero numbers. So you just about rewrite the whole thing, times 10 to the first. I just moved it 1 spot. Okay? So they do throw some of these weird numbers in there just so you, to make sure you know the rules of where to move it. So that's all we're doing today. Tomorrow we're going to do the ones where we got to multiply and divide them, which you did a little bit of last year.